Hey, Maryanne, what's up?
Oh, good, thanks. How are you?
I'm great. I'm great.
It's really,
I
it's
was
really
just
hot
was
in
it?
here.
Hey, it was a really hot day today,
Yes, it was. It was. Yep. Mm.
but also today, in the United States, it's the 1 year anniversary. If you're an NBA basketball fan, it's the 1 year anniversary of the passing of Kobe Bryant and his daughter Gianna, and seven others in that tragic helicopter accident last year. So, in remembrance and to celebrate his life, everyone is just paying tribute to Kobe Bryant. But but I know you, Maryanne, you're the biggest LA Lakers fan that I know. So can you just tell me how did that start for you? How did that start being an LA Lakers fan?
I like to talk smack a lot. um, I think it was. I went to school with the Kennelly sisters. I don't know if you out west. Oh well, they live out west, and so surprisingly, I played basketball. So I think LA Lakers was like the team then. So I was like, yeah, I'm going to go for that team. And so, yeah, I just started following them. And then obviously my cousins, they live in LA. And so they're big fans of, well, some of them are big fans of LA Lakers as well as Clippers. So I just followed from, yeah. So I wasn't a great basketball player, but I knew how to dribble and the rules. And yeah, so it's just from from the like night. I think it was 96 or 97.
Oh yeah,
And that's probably around the same time that Kobe kind of came into the scene. Yeah, during that time with Shaq, and yeah, so I just started following them, and I always wanted to go to a game. And so when I actually got the opportunity to go, and that was 2009 or 10, and I was in the States, and my cousins, they know that I'm like a really big fan, and one of them got me tickets. Oh, well, got us tickets. And I thought, oh my gosh, I'm going to go to a game. And then we got there, and our seats were like all the way, like no speed. Like literally, you need like magnifying glasses just to actually look for Kobe. And I was like, really? Seats? And she's like, yeah, no, so sorry, cuz I tried to get some seats down the bottom, but it was I couldn't find any. We got there, wasn't that packed. And I think it was Lakers versus, I actually still have the ticket, like, oh well, it's in my stuff when I
it's in a
moved
frame.
back
Was it?
to yeah, when I moved back to Oz. I actually had it in a frame, so it's in the box. And I think it was Cavaliers, that's who they were playing. And so we went upstairs, and I thought, man, I need to go down to the bottom. Like you could see, but I was literally watching the big screen. So I was like, no, that's not good enough. So it was halftime. I went downstairs, and I went up to the security, and I was like, introduced myself. The bouncer, and he's like, "Oh, you've got an accent. Are you English?" And I'm like, "No." And I said, "No, I'm." I'm. Oh, he's like, "Oh, are you from England or And I said, "No." And then he's like, "Oh, where are you from?" And I said, "Oh, I'm from New Zealand. I'm Samoan." He's like, "Oh," and he started talking to me, and I was like, "Oh, I'm." He's like, "Where are you sitting?" I'm like, all the way up there, and it's my first time here. And he actually let us, like, not go downstairs or like where the court side is, but it was literally like, I think it was like the second tier.
Oh wow.
So that was actually pretty good. So we ended up watching the second half of the game, and Lakers ended up winning. And then I really wanted to go to the bottom, but yeah, security guards were like, sorry, you can't go to the bottom. And they literally, when it's finished, Max, so I was literally one of those. I was like, oh my gosh, and I was zooming in on photos and back then I think it was like 2009, so the camera quality wasn't that great. So I was like, wait, zoom in. But yeah, it was actually really good, and that's probably. And then the next day, I think it was 2 days later, it was the Clippers versus Miami Heat, and that's when LeBron just went across. Like he left Cavaliers and he went across to Miami Heat. So I decided, you know what, I'm going to buy tickets, and so I ended up getting tickets on Greg's list. So I ended up right there, like just looking at LeBron James, even though back then I was like, I hate him. He's useless. now we're like best friends, man.
Wow. That's so amazing, because in the span of 2 days, was it 2 days?
Yeah.
You saw LeBron James, Dwayne Wade was playing? Chris Paul?
Yeah, Dwayne Wade was playing, and
then
yeah.
And then, but the day before you saw Kobe Bryant. Oh, so.
Yeah, exactly. And so I think it was Friday, and then Saturday, and then Sunday the Clippers were playing. So there was as soon as I got home from the Lakers game, I was on Greg's list just looking for tickets. And my cousins were like, man, we never go on that. You know, people will rip you off. And I was like, nah, I'm going to go on it. And then I found 2 tickets. They're like, oh, and my auntie was like, what if they're going to, I've heard of all these stories that they rip you off or, And I said, no. I think we got this, and we actually got really good seats. Like I said, I went with my cousin, and he's an LA Clippers fan, and he looked like he's born and bred there. He's only been to a few games, but it's so expensive to actually buy tickets like close to the courts. So when I actually got these tickets for $100 each, he was like, no shit. And when we actually arrived, he was like, oh my gosh, what if we get there and the guy scans is like, sorry, it's fake. And I was like, please. And then we walked through, and the guy was like, welcome. And I was like, oh my gosh, So yeah, it was a good experience. It was probably the highlight of my trip when I went to the States that year, was going to the NBA games. And yeah, if I could actually go everything, I would actually just spend money on it.
So just quickly,
Yeah.
like, it's been the 1 year anniversary of Kobe Bryant's passing.
Yeah.
How's that made you feel? Like, because to me, it's still unbelievable to me. Like, I still can't.
Yeah, it's still raw. Like, I think, like when I think it was a Sunday. Right? Because I woke up, and not that I checked Twitter, but I woke up and I thought, oh, let me just have a look. And I saw his name trending. Oh, actually, I saw someone post it, like one of the celebrities that I follow, and was like, oh, I hope it's not true, And then you just see people tweeting, like, all the celebrities, like, hearts, or just prayers going out to Kobe and Gigi, and I hope it's not true, because I think at that time TMZ had actually announced that he was actually on in that helicopter, or he had actually passed away, but it hadn't been confirmed. And so yeah, and I thought to myself, no, you know how you see a lot of celebrities trending, or not a lot, but people making up story that so and so died, and I just thought, oh, maybe someone's just being a hater. And I thought, no. And then when they actually confirmed that he had passed away, I literally, like, oh shit, I was like crying, and I was so upset that whole day. I went, jumped on YouTube, and I just watched every of his, and also, like, that's how bad I was, so upset. And my cousins from the States, they messaged me, because they obviously know how big fan I am, and they were like, oh, cousin, you all right? We're thinking of you. that's and one of my cousin who's like, she's like my sister. She had her son. He's 8 years old, and I remember her ex at that time. He was a big LeBron fan. So when he had they had a boy, and he was thinking of naming him LeBron, and I said to him, like, "Oh, you better not. You better name him Kobe." And I named my nephew Kobe after Kobe. And so she obviously listened to me and be like, "No, I'm not going to name him LeBron. I'm going to name him Kobe." So yeah, it was. So yeah, I'm not obsessed. I'm not like, I idolize him, but he's like, it's one that. But yeah, I was gutted. Like, I was so upset, and I couldn't, like, I think the next day, it took me ages just to process that he was actually gone. Like, it's so sad. And then it's been a year already, and it's like he's still around. When they actually mention him on TV, but yeah. Making me sound like I'm obsessed.
Nah. Hey, thanks for coming on board the show. Good luck to your Lakers this year. You know they're gonna lose.
No, we're actually doing quite well. Like, I was pretty upset that they lost to the Warriors at all team, but I think we're going to go all the way. That's what I think.
All right.
Yeah. So,
We'll see about that.